As you guys know, I sold almost all of my cars to move out of the warehouse, and we are back working at the house here for the time being. And today I got significant information. I heard about an abandoned SUV at a shop very close to my house. And it was abandoned at this shop because the shop told the owner the entire truck was trash. So today, we're gonna go check this out and try to figure out why they said this thing needs an engine and a transmission. How do they even fail at the same time? And it needs everything else too. Let's go hook onto a car. On today's episode of Watch JR Go, we are here to go pick up a new car, a brand new luxury vehicle, the pinnacle of luxury even. This one's not it, it was. What is going on, guys? I am Watch JR Go, and today I'm here with Zach. How'd you break your arm?
Tree work.
Tree work? Ruined it? All right, we're here in the large diesel because we're gonna go hook onto a Cadillac Escalade and drag it back to the house. Much to the neighbor's chagrin. They're not gonna like me again. I mean, they were cool with it before, but for a long time I didn't have to have any cars at the house, and that was nice. Here we are, the pinnacle of luxury, the Escalade ESV, the extended wheelbase. Already unlocked. Got some seat covers that need to go. Ooh, I haven't looked at this. I gotta say, guys, I haven't looked at this. I just said deal. We've got factory nav, which I love, a phone holder, a system, no back seats. That's an Escalade. Well, we'll do a little more check-in later. First, let's get this thing home. All right, we've got one Escalade in tow. Picking up the chain here. Boom. You do need a D-ring to get a chain around the front tow hook on an Escalade, just so you know. Zach's working hard back there. I should have let him drive this. He has no power steering. That is a heavy truck. And we're back. Look at that giant piece of GM artwork. I love the Escalade, and I'm sure you guys do too, because it's the perfect family hauler with the right drivetrain. And honestly, they do basically everything correctly. And now I know there's gonna be some naysayers in the comments like, you can't flat tow an all-wheel drive Escalade. Anyway, we went about a mile. It's barely a mile at 20 miles an hour. I promise you, the car is fine. So I wanted to address that from the very beginning. This is a 2011 Escalade ESV, the extended wheelbase. I mentioned that before, obviously, and I paid $4,000 for this thing, and it is rougher than I expected. The first thing I noticed was this back bumper trim missing, and the amount of dirt that is absolutely packed into this car from living on dirt roads. Now, when I heard about this thing, they said it needed an engine and a transmission, and then I went to the shop to pick it up, and I was like, well, how's it need both? And they said, well, the engine is seized up, completely locked up, which I believe, and then they said the transmission fluid was a little brown. So the transmission's fine. That is obviously great to hear. That means we just need to chase down a 6.2. This thing is powered by the monstrous variable valve timing Ecotech 3 6.2 liter V8. And it should be a great power plant that makes plenty of power once we get this thing sorted out and running again. So let's check out what we bought here. The remote no longer has any buttons on it, basically. So that's supposed to be remote start. This should be door unlock. The first thing I did notice is these tires are basically brand new. Tread depth is massive, and they're also good tires. BF Goodrich Trail Terrain TAs. So not a bad tire, and of course it's all-wheel drive, so this thing should actually do well, kind of mild off-road and in the snow. The power steps are clearly broken. They are deployed on both sides, which is a bit upsetting. I'm super excited to work on the power steps, but they're both broken. I thought it was just one, and that would have left me with something to start with. So we've got a lot to figure out there. Well, actually, I just noticed the power step. I think that's the disable button. Or, well, maybe that's not a button at all. It sure looked like it was, but it's pushed in there and it's stuck in. Either way, I do know one of the power steps has been broken for a long time. Also, I came around to the back, we opened the hatch, and we found more, who would have guessed, broken stuff. Okay, that should have opened. Let's see if the glass opens. Well, that works. I also noticed the defrost is broken off. Of course it is. I know that can actually be repaired, so close that guy. Well, yesterday the rear hatch opened, but the motor that runs it was stuck, and today it doesn't open at all. So I don't know what's going on with that, but we can't open the rear hatch anymore. This thing is far rougher than I expected as well. We pulled these seat covers off and the seats are ruined. The factory floor mats are missing. We have this remote base control, a trailer brake controller in there, these ruined seats, which is very unfortunate, a ruined center console. The leather there is absolutely trash. Even the passenger seat's ruined. This is tough. It's tough to hurt a car this badly, but this thing is beat. That armrest, trash. Let's check the, well, that works. I'm surprised, actually. Here in the back, the door panels look all right, and this seat looks all right. Honestly, I think this seat was fine too, but it is missing that little cap for the armrest screw there. We're also missing the cup holders. The cup holders flip down from there. That shouldn't be gone. It does have rear heated seats, which are sick. It also has heated and cooled front seats, which is an awesome option. You can see the switches down there on the climate. And this thing, it's properly set up. It is an Escalade. It's got navigation. It has rear DVD, dual screens, nice big Panasonic screen there, rear climate, another rear screen, and the back seats are straight up missing, which is insane. I was not expecting that either. Being an Escalade, this thing's had a bunch of systems in it, which is also hilarious. You guys saw that 15. The owner took that when they dropped this thing off, unfortunately, so we no longer have the 15, but we do have this 4 gauge, which I know is live. That's kind of insane. New England Providor 4 gauge. I mean, that sounds like junk to me, but it's 4 gauge power wire for the amp. And then I went to the battery because we had to pull this amp. It had a 1500 watt monoblock amp running that 15, which probably pounded. When we took that out, I unhooked the power cable from the battery for that, and that is that giant 1/0 right there. So there's literally 1/0 coming out of the floor with that remote wire right there. I don't know how they're getting the low level input, but that's there too. Remote base control. It was actually a pretty nice system too. It is gone now, so no more system in this thing. We're down to just factory speakers. Hopefully they aren't blown. Say it with me now, class. The cheapest Escalade is the most expensive Escalade. This thing, it's so hurt. I cannot believe it. I thought this was gonna be an epic money-making opportunity because he said that they paid like $38,000 for it, and I know that was only a few years ago. And now it's probably not worth anywhere near that, and it's so much rougher than I ever expected. Retail on this truck, if you don't remember, was about $80,000 as well. Base model started at 64, and ESVs with all the options. This is basically a Platinum. Everything but the headlights are in here. Platinum's got the LED headlights, which are sweet. Those headlights are worth more than the truck almost. This one does not have them. I did find a set last night for $1,000 for the 2 LED headlights. But that said, this is nearly a Platinum with all the heated and cooled seats, all the options, and it probably stickered around the $80,000 mark. Auto headlights, rain sensing wipers, or at least it should be with that box up there in the windshield, heated steering wheel, power adjusting pedals, power folding mirrors, one touch up down on the windows. This thing truly has about all the options you could want. Power tilt wheel, and no telescope at all. That's kind of unfortunate. And the only option it's really missing is the heated and cooled cup holders. The Platinum would also have. Heated and cooled cup holders are one of the best features in the world. You go on a road trip, throw something in there, and it's cold 8 hours later. So unfortunately, this does not have that, but that's basically all of the options on the Escalade. There were only 2 things in the glove box. The receipt for the new tires and this hilarious dual bolt extractor. And I hope they weren't using that on the lugs. I guess that's one way to get them off. They left nothing in this car. It has a USB port in the center console there and 12 volt power. They grabbed everything. Nothing but like an old pin left in the upper console and this cell phone mount. Other than that, everything went with it, so there's nothing for me to show you guys. It's a very empty, ready to be worked on car. I did find this boat air horn under the hood, which was pretty funny. I don't know if it's actually hooked up to anything, but there's a bunch of wires running all over the place. There might actually be a switch inside to run that little air horn, which probably sounds cute. You know it doesn't sound good, I can tell you that right now. Doesn't sound like train horns. The accessory belt is off. I'm sure that got thrown. And all of the intake piping is missing as well. I need to go back to the shop and ask them what's going on with that, because I do need that once I put this thing back together. Here's some of that system wire. You can see the 4 gauge with what looks like an A&L fuse, and then some other giant fuse in that fuse holder there, going to that 1/0 that used to connect to the battery. This truck has had a lot of systems in it. There's no doubt about that. This also has the air ride. I did hear that all of the air suspension was just replaced. It's tough to see because there's a shadow right where the air shocks are, but you can see the line and the shock right inside there. And yep, I mean, those look like new bellows. So everything in the rear was just replaced, including the compressor. I'm sure it sucked up a bunch of dirty air going down dirt roads, and they swapped all that out. It's also the flex fuel truck, so it has the flex fuel sensor, and you can run E85 or unleaded, whatever you want. So you can run this thing on that corn. The Escalade is of course the perfect cheap family hauler these days, and you'd probably end up paying about $14,000, $15,000 for a truck like this. I got it for $4,000. Now we have to try to fix it cheap so we can come in way under that number and hopefully sell it and make some money. Well, what do you guys think? Do I just fix it, do a quick engine swap, or do we do a twin turbo setup and build ourselves a, you know, $10,000 Escalade V instead of spending $250,000 like everyone else is on their 700 horse Escalades? I could literally have 700 horsepower for less than 10 grand in the same car. So there you go. That is my $4,000 Escalade. It just needs hopefully a $2,000 and change engine, and it's back on the road. We got to fix the steps, we got to fix the rear hatch, and we need an interior. Unfortunately, the back seats were stolen at one point is what the old owner told me, and it might be hard to find those. Hopefully we can, and get this entire thing back together, cleaned up, and ready to sell for just a little bit of money. Obviously I can't drive it, the engine's locked up. So that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to head on over to shop.watchjrgo.com for cool shirts, not like this. And please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do, and I will talk to you next time. You want a new family hauler?
I might.
You could,
I mean, they are getting bigger.
They are getting bigger. You could almost trade the minivan straight for the SUV. You just have to, I'd say, what's your gas mileage look like in that van?
Probably better than that.
Yeah, I would assume. I would assume you get like 3 miles a gallon better, because this gets about 20.
Yeah, I'm making like 27.
Okay, well 7.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a difference, but heated and cooled seats.
Throw in all those extra bugs there, you know, we'll call it a deal.
All right, you can have all the bugs you want, millions of them.
Nice.
Gabe and I just got the running board button unstuck, and I thought they were gonna start working, but no, the battery's dead now. It's just, everything's dead. Work, work, work.
Stupid step.
Move it now, go.
Probably shouldn't do that, I might break something else.
You could. You wouldn't be hurting anything, everything else on it's broken.
Oh, well in that case.
I guess kick it.